Hello, happy to have you here. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with your loved ones. Your support is priceless. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Let's jump in. It began with a long-anticipated journey, the kind Sierra had envisioned for years. A European getaway she'd methodically curated down to the last detail. She'd studied guidebooks, carefully saved each paycheck, and devoured travel documentaries like scripture. "I just need to get away," she'd admitted one evening, her voice heavy with the weight of a decade spent in monotonous routine. "I'll only be gone a week. When I get back, things between us will feel even more solid. Riley and Rain are going too. It's all through a tour company, fully structured, guide included." I had nodded with encouragement, managing a warm smile. "You've earned this, Sierra. Really. Soak in every second." Truthfully, her leaving didn't bother me. I'd been burning out at work, and the thought of a little space between us felt more like a breath of fresh air than a threat, or so I told myself. The first few days of her trip went by quietly. We exchanged messages, shared pictures, touched base whenever we could. She sent me images of Europe's postcard views, the Eiffel Tower aglow at night, the maze-like canals of Venice, foreign meals plated like art. There was a spark in her eyes I hadn't seen in a long time. I missed her, sure, but part of me was comforted by the quiet. Then, as the trip wound down, something changed. Her messages grew sparse, replies were clipped, missed calls stacked up. And when she did answer, her voice felt distant. I chalked it up to jet lag or a packed schedule. Still, a low hum of worry started to build. I was at the airport when she came back, bouquet in hand. But she wasn't quite the same. Her hair was styled differently, her posture more confident, her hug a bit too forceful, her kiss landing on my cheek like it had been rehearsed. "So, how was it?" I asked. Her smile lit up, too wide, too polished. Unbelievable. Better than I imagined. She talked about the trip, but her stories were hazy, her excitement oddly scripted. I sensed something was off, but I didn't push. I told myself it was just post-vacation adjustment. That evening, as I unwound on the couch, my phone buzzed. A message from Riley, one of Sierra's travel buddies. "Darren, can we talk tomorrow? It's important." Riley had always been a bit intense. There had been moments, subtle but undeniable, when she'd looked at me a little too long, stood a little too close. When Sierra stepped away, to take a call or grab a drink, Riley often drifted into my space, sometimes brushing my arm or lowering her voice to an intimate whisper. Once, she'd leaned in so closely I thought she might kiss me. I'd pulled away, silently reminding myself who I was with and what I stood for. So seeing her name now triggered a gut-deep unease. I didn't answer. Whatever she needed to say, I convinced myself I didn't need to hear it. I set the phone down and resolved to focus on Sierra, to get us back on track. But things began to slip. Just a few days later, I came home early with plans to surprise her with dinner. As I walked through the door, I caught her voice in the next room, low, urgent, unlike her usual tone. "I told you it's done. I can't talk now," she snapped, before ending the call. Her cheeks turned pink the moment she saw me. "Who was that?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "Just someone I met during the trip," she said too quickly. "A friend." "What kind of friend?" I asked gently. "Someone from the group," she mumbled, moving past me. "I need a shower." And just like that, she vanished down the hall. I sat there piecing things together. The odd call, her detachment, the evasiveness. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Riley. "Please, Darren, we need to talk." "It's about Sierra. Tomorrow?" Her insistence sent a chill through me. She knew something. I could feel it. Against my better instincts, I replied, "Okay, what's going on?" Her answer came quickly. "I'll explain when we meet." The next day, we met at a quiet cafe far from anywhere familiar. Riley was already there, cupping her coffee with both hands, looking more serious than I'd ever seen her. "Thanks for coming," she said as I sat down. Just tell me what this is, I said, skipping the pleasantries. She hesitated, glancing around like she was afraid of being overheard. Then she pulled out her phone. I didn't want to be the one to tell you, but you deserve the truth. The truth about what? I asked, a knot forming in my stomach. Without answering, she handed me the phone. On the screen was a photo of Sierra in the arms of a man I didn't recognize, standing close on an old cobbled street. Their foreheads nearly touched, her arms looped around his shoulders, my chest constricted. There's more, Riley said, flipping to another image. It was worse. Sierra, mid-kiss, entirely immersed in the moment. Then a short video played, maybe 10 seconds, Sierra laughing, her hand entwined with his, leaning in again for another kiss. That's Jared, Riley said quietly. He was part of our tour group. By the last few days, they were practically glued together. I stared at the screen, my thoughts racing, words caught in my throat. Why are you showing me this? I finally asked, my voice dry and thin. Because you shouldn't be kept in the dark, she said softly, her hand reaching out to mine. I didn't want to interfere, but I couldn't stay silent either. Her fingers lingered longer than they should have. I pulled my hand back. I need to talk to Sierra. Riley looked at me with a grave expression and nodded. I'm so sorry, Darren. That evening I stepped into my house with a heart full of rage and despair, emotions swirling in a storm that wouldn't calm. Sierra was lounging on the sofa, casually scrolling through her phone, as if nothing earth-shattering had happened. We have to talk, I said, more sharply than I intended. She glanced up, startled. A shadow of fear crossed her face. What's going on? I said nothing. I simply held up my phone, its screen glowing with the images Riley had sent. Care to explain this? All color drained from her face. For a few moments, she was speechless. Finally, she choked out, Where did you get these? I locked eyes with her, fury boiling just under the surface. You honestly thought I'd never find out? Are you kidding me, Sierra? She stood slowly, her hands trembling as she instinctively reached for her phone, clearly stalling. Darren, just wait. Let me... No, I interrupted, my voice cutting and cold. Spare me. I've seen it all. Photos, videos. You kissed him. You held him. Don't insult me by pretending it's not exactly what it looks like. Tears welled up in her eyes, but I didn't relent. Why would you do this? What did I lack that he had? What was missing? Her voice cracked as she whispered, It wasn't planned. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. It just happened? I repeated, the words acidic in my mouth. Do you think I'm an idiot? You were away for a week, and this is how you used that time? She clasped her hands tightly, her whole body trembling. I made a huge mistake. I wasn't thinking clearly. The distance, being alone, it messed with me. I took a step back, stunned at how little thought she seemed to have given to everything we had built. So that's it? You didn't even stop to think about me? About us? Tears streamed down her face now. I was ashamed the moment it happened, Darren. I still am. I know I've hurt you, but it didn't mean anything, I swear. I regret it every day. I stared at her, numb and bitter. You didn't just hurt me. You broke something in me. She dropped to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Please don't leave me. I love you. I'll do anything to make this right. Let me prove I can be the wife you deserve. She reached out and clutched my hands. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Just give me a chance. I didn't say a word. Instead, I walked over to the bookshelf, pulled down our marriage certificate and the photo from our wedding, and tore both in half. She screamed, her sobs rising in anguish, but I didn't waver. It's done, I said, voice steady. I'm filing for divorce. There's no fixing this. She collapsed to the floor, wailing. But I felt nothing. Whatever love, whatever connection once existed, it had died. I packed a few essentials, clothes, my laptop, personal things, and I left. There was no way I could stay under that roof after what she'd done. I needed to get away. I headed straight for Jackson's place. After I told him everything, he just stared, stunned. "Man, I don't even know what to say," he said, shaking his head. "That's brutal, Darren. I'm really sorry." He handed me a beer and gestured toward the couch. "Stay as long as you want, seriously." I nodded, still struggling to process it all. After a few moments, Jackson added, "Hey, my cousin's a divorce lawyer. Really good. No drama, no games. Want his number?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "I'll call him in the morning." The next day, while trying to steady myself, my phone buzzed. It was Riley. "Hey," she said, her tone light but laced with sympathy. "I know this has been hell. If you need to talk or just get out of the house, I'm here." I hesitated. I wasn't sure how I felt. But the loneliness, the betrayal, the ache, it all surged forward. "Okay," I said. I could use that. We met downtown, at a quiet bar with low lighting and soft music that blurred into the background. We found a booth in a corner, tucked away from everyone else. Riley sat close, closer than I expected. Her presence was grounding, cutting through the chaos in my mind. "You didn't deserve this," she said, her eyes steady on mine. "What she did to you, there's no excuse for it." My chest ached again. I don't even know who I am anymore. Everything I thought I had, my life, my future, it's just gone. Riley leaned forward, her voice gentle. "I've always understood you, more than Sierra ever did." She paused, then added, "I've wanted to be with you for a long time, Darren." My heart stumbled. For years, she'd just been a friend of Sierra's. But now she was looking at me differently. "I'd end my friendship with her if it meant being with you," she said, her voice low and certain. Her words hung there, heavy with meaning. I was caught off guard. Grief, anger, confusion, they battled with something else, something deeper. Then she leaned in and kissed me. It started soft, tentative, then it deepened, urgent. And I let it happen. In that moment, nothing else existed. When we pulled apart, I was breathless, overwhelmed by a surge of emotion I couldn't fully name. It wasn't clarity, but it was something. Something that momentarily filled the emptiness. Still, the reality wasn't far behind. This wouldn't last. I had already started down a path, and now, I had to see it through. The divorce moved quickly. Jackson's cousin connected me with a lawyer, and we filed soon after. Sierra didn't contest anything. Maybe she knew she'd already lost me. There was no undoing what had been done, no repairing the wreckage left in her wake. The road ahead simply didn't have space for her anymore. In the aftermath, it was Riley who stepped into the void, becoming the person I leaned on most. She understood the weight I bore, offering a quiet kind of empathy I hadn't known I craved. We found solace in each other, long nights spent talking, laughing, and rediscovering a warmth I thought I'd lost. Little by little, I let the numbness slip away. The walls I'd built so carefully began to fall. One afternoon, I was at Riley's place. We'd been spending more time together lately, and the energy between us had subtly shifted. It was in the silences, in the way her gaze lingered on me. I was sitting in her living room when a knock broke the calm. Riley got up to answer it, and I barely gave it a thought until the door swung open and Sierra appeared. Her face had gone pale, her expression frozen in stunned disbelief. I was still in my robe, and the second she saw me, her face contorted with pain. "Darren," she said, her voice splintered with raw emotion. "What is this? What's going on?" I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. The silence carried more truth than words ever could. Her eyes bounced between us, searching for an explanation that didn't exist. But she could already see it. see that I wasn't the man she once knew. That part of me was gone. Riley, composed and calm, was the one who finally broke the silence. "Why are you here, Sierra?" she asked. Sierra's expression twisted, her voice sharp with heartbreak. "I knew it," she snapped. "I knew you'd end up with her." She stepped inside, her grief bleeding through every word. "How could you do this to me? After everything we've been through, I chose you. Yes, I made mistakes, I know that. But I love you, Darren. I still love you. Please, just give me another chance." She was shaking now, her eyes filled with tears, every breath labored. "I was wrong. I see that now. I've never regretted anything more. I need you. We can fix this. Just say we can try." But I stayed silent. The bitterness, the heartbreak that had once consumed me, it had all dissolved. The choice had already been made by both of us. Then Riley stepped forward, her voice calm but unwavering. "It's done, Sierra. He's not yours anymore. He's with me now. And that's not going to change." Sierra's face crumpled. She stared at Riley, then at me, disbelieving. "You bitch," she said through gritted teeth. "How could you do this to me? You were supposed to be my friend." Her voice broke into sobs, and without another word, she turned and walked out. The door slammed behind her like the final punctuation at the end of a long chapter. The room fell quiet once more, but now the silence felt light, like release. The secrets were behind us. The shame was gone. In that calm, Riley and I began building something that was genuine. She stood by me in all the ways Sierra never had. And the love I felt for her didn't come from spite. It came from finally discovering something real. As for Sierra, I never saw her again. That part of my life was finished, and with Riley by my side, I was finally ready to move on. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.